Hey, it's me, C. Here's the hook. USA is dead. It's done. It's over. It's been over. And let me tell you how I feel about that and how I arrived at that. Because, listen, now I'm in my 50s, okay? Which means that I have been a voting age for a while now. Been through quite a few elections and whatnot. And though I don't consider myself a great historian or anything like that, or neither was history my major, I feel like I really got to say that it's in this current time, and I'm saying this now because, hey, in case you didn't know, you've never seen me before, I do daily videos, and usually I do about light topic, lighter topics. I talk about moving abroad and things like this, but also I feel like this is pertinent because, is the reason why I'm absolutely positively pro GTFO of the US for all anyone queer and trans, gay, the big umbrella that is LGBTQIA S plus SP, and also just all black people, all black Americans. Okay, look like me, GTFO if you can. And now you might know, like, if you've done any looking around on YouTube or anything else like that, it's like there are a lot of people besides me saying it's been time for you to been gone. Okay, now I was gone. I had to come back for a little mini second. And it's like this, the minute I, touch down, I'm not even in the continental United States, okay? I am in the middle of the ocean, and I'm saying this to say that just the minute I touch down, I don't know whether it's my algorithm did something funny or whatever, but I've been catching too much of the news going on. Whereas when I was in Mexico, it didn't seem like it came across my feed or whatever. But now that I'm back, it is honestly been one horror after horror after horror of what's going on in the continental United States. And I'm like, oh wow, I intellectually was like, oh yeah, or just like lightly was like, oh yeah, the US is over. It's been over since like it's been dying, gasping, dying for a few years, and started with the erosion of privacies and everything else like that. And yeah, more of a surveillance state continuing on, like I said, lack of data privacy, all of these things. And now I'm just like, wow. Nothing says like the US is and I say US, I mean the social contract idea, the idea of the US as being a place where all people of all kinds can come and make come for a better life and things like that, and we'll together figure out a way to make things better for the people that live in the United States. That's done. They've done this, and it's really been interesting and scary and horrific and all these other words to watch the level of actual violence towards everyone in mass. Now, harkening back to what I said, like American, okay, so I know like how people that look like me have been treated in the United States from the start of this country, of the United States. And I, as I said, I have read a great many things on different experiments, and even from my ancestors who are Native American, who are Cherokee, who are Sioux. Um, I grew up learning about the broken treaties, and also, you know, um, COINTELPRO and the medical experimentation on African Americans, and just the horrors of the chattel slavery system, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs schools. These the Indians. I mean, now all just, I guess, from both being, Native American and also African American, and also, having part of my family be kicked off the rolls because you're not Indian, we're just gonna consider you black. I'm like, that was what it was. That's what happens, which also has happened to a lot of African American people who are also indigenous people, who also mixed with people that are indigenous to the continental United States. So grew up all the horror stories, like, I mean, all of the things prior to, it's just, for me, I'm like, it's an ongoing saga of horrors. It's just that the rest of the US, it didn't see themselves having to be privy to that, or being exposed to that, or them being the focus of all of that ire and racism and sexism and all of these other things that have greatly affected Black women, right? So, but now that everybody can get it, it was just like, I'm like, oh, things are truly over. And it's interesting that, I, when Trump was first elected, now I was a bit taken aback. I was like, they did. I was like, the people voted for who? I was like, the person that y'all that did this, that abuses people, you voted that person like that into office. I was like, I'm like, okay, y'all. And so in this time, the second time around, I was just like, yeah. I was like, matter of fact, I already knew that was gonna happen. I was like, no, that's gonna happen, and I will be not around for that. And of course, I was not around for that. And I'm saying this to say, this whole death, it just feels like, and I'm gonna go woo here. It is being the person I am. I'm African American, a Black woman. Okay, I'm Black queer woman, and I'm also a human design reflector. So I get to see and reflect and get the flavors of this whole society changing thing, and like what it feels, and I'm saying this because what it feels like we're on the verge of, it's just what it also just looks like, it is readily apparent. That's why I'm like, oh my God, I'm team, please go anywhere safe for brown people. If it, it, Latinos, just all the brown people, if you can. You have family anywhere else in around the world, go there for a while, because as we can already see, these death throes are horrible, horrific, violent, tragic, all of those things, and purposeful. Oh, make no mistake about it. This is purposeful. This is terrorizing everyone so that, that they can make this huge regime change into be the white nationalist Christian country that they've always wanted to have. These European Americans who don't even belong on the land. Okay, it was not their land. I was like, they literally, maybe y'all should really go back home with that. y'all need to go home, go back to your own countries with that. So, but no, they're enacting all of their violence and inhumanity in in the continental United States. And it's a lot. I mean, for years have been like watching the good news first before I watched, any news cycle, and I had stopped watching um, current news cycles at all because, I don't know if you're watching me from overseas, but in the United States, as if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead the news cycle. So it's like I don't really want to see a bunch of schmurder and all that kind of stuff. I don't need that in my energy, in my sphere. But I do still need to know what's going on globally, and of course, as y'all know, whatever the United States does something, it affects just the globe. It and usually for worse because out there just doing horrible things, generally speaking. So, um, and also, gosh, you're not even gonna talk about the fact that we canceled, medical aid and food aid to other countries. So which is a whole nother level of horrible. And I, as a person, just it's on YouTube. I feel like, and I was trying to do light content and everything, but y'all, my heart feels like twisty, and I'm just like, and it makes my body feel heavy. And granted, I definitely feel grateful that I have the opportunity to just go to the ocean because the this government is just like this current I would, it's funny that because my initial thing was I was gonna say right there is I just don't believe, but no, I absolutely believe this is going on. It's just I didn't think I would be alive to see it. Honestly, they talking about the revolution is not going to be televised. The hell it isn't. It's all over the news. It's all over the TV. The revolution is being hella televised through everybody's, not just TV, but it's on YouTube. It's on TikTok. It's on people with we got on the ground field reporters and everybody who has a device. And for some reason, I just feel like I guess I thought, when the revolution came, it would be more just vocalized but wow, or I don't know, maybe I thought that's what it was. I guess I thought the revolution would be more fast. And I guess maybe this is fast since it's like horror after horror and doing all these things and trained in, bombing countries and, kidnappings and all these other kinds of things are happening. I guess it's just that is, that I think about it, that is pretty darn fast. So wow, yeah, the elders were wrong. The revolution is absolutely being televised for the global audience to see, to watch. It feels like when I come across the news or a thing, and granted, and I'm looking across different news outlets, right? I'm not just looking at U.S. news. I'm also looking at news from now Greenland, and also reading news from from fans from all of the different countries where I personally want to visit. I read those. Read their news cycles, as well as interspersing that in with my first good news. But then, like I said, French news, Spanish news, Mexican news, of course, because I'm a resident there, so I read the Mexican news. I watch the Mexican news cycles, listen to what the president says is going on, and her policies and things like that. Also, honestly, a Thailand news because there's been a bit of a skirmish between, I think it's with Cambodia and Thailand, and so I'm staying abreast of that situation and that news when that happens. And it's it's interesting across the globe. It definitely is, especially that there seems to be a rise in negative attitudes and not caring for human beings in general. It's been a bit more negative than positive. Like, yes, there have been, for good news sakes, if you don't know, I like you to try out watching or downloading Good News Network. There's also positive news. And so when I look at, environmentally speaking, the things that are going on, that's good. Like, we've recovered new bird species. There has been decrease in carbon emissions in certain areas of the globe and things like that, where, gosh, there's super blocks happening in cities that reduce emissions. There's increasing connectivity with people in cities, and that's a good thing. So there are very, very good things happening. But I would be remiss if I didn't just say that I feel, because it's the country of my birth as well, and I had all of the hope. I feel like I've had all the hope of my 18-year-old self. When I first, the most exciting thing when I was 18 was I was like, oh my God, I'm finally old enough to but I've definitely lost that enthusiasm, but I know this is gonna sound strange, but I'm optimistic that people in the continental United States, without us Black people being in the streets, because that ain't our business anymore, it's for the rest of those folks who voted for that to fix this. But I have the belief, and I feel optimistic that they can fix what they have broken. I know. Y'all be like, you're like, yo, sis, that's a lot of optimism for those folks. I know. But I'm optimistic. And as fast as this is falling apart, and as bad as it's going to get in the next couple of years, I have faith that, like, in 10 years, possibly some good has come out of it. Like, either everything falls very, very apart, but I can tell you for sure what's going to happen is the cess of a wound that they kept on trying to fix without cleaning out, cleaning out the racism, cleaning out all these things that America never talked about and never wanted to acknowledge. All of this is getting unearthed now, and there's no. So this feels like the gross cleaning the ick of the wound of the United States. Now, will it get past this draining and seepage and the sepsis of the country, or will it die? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know that it'll be better than all of the cover-ups and it's going to be better than it is now, for obvious. And I believe that because it's got to be. Uh, whether, yeah, I don't know what kind of, if it's gonna be the United States anymore. And but I am, it's interesting. I don't know, but I gotta believe that something better is gonna come out of this lancing of this huge wound that is the U.S. Like something good from this is, it's got to come. I'm like, like, please, it's got to, for all of this, all of the horrors visited on all of the people for since the inception of this country, till now, it's still going on, it's actively going on. I'm like, in 10 years, something good has got to come out of this, because it feels like the big old reckoning that was supposed to happen a while ago. Just how I feel about it. That's just a reflector reflecting. I'm like, it's reckoning, and I'm going to be over here with the rest of the 92% resting, because my ancestors have paid the price and already did the civil rights thing. We already did that. Not doing that again. Not putting our bodies on the line for this again. It's for other people to fix this time. Fix your mess. They will fix this mess. Okay? So yeah, that's how I'm feeling on this day. I think I'm like 49 of 100 videos, and yeah, it's I'm not feeling all, super light and airy, and I had other, things that I was going to talk about, but with the news cycle being what it is, and just all the schmurdering going on, and people being pulled out of their homes, and people's passports like disappearing or being disappeared from the system, and this just feeling very like, I gotta say something. I gotta get this off my chest, out of my heart. Listen, maybe I'll look back on this and be like, you got some things right. I know I'm not looking to be right. I just need to get these things off my chest as part of my, documentation of this portion of my, YouTube channel, because people are going to want to know me. Like, what do you think about things? And I'm like, it's what I think about things. So there it is, where I am with this whole news cycle thing. And after this, I record this, upload this. It's going to be raw. It's going to be unedited. It is what it is. And then I'm going to freaking have some tea, and I'm going to rest, because I don't want to think about this anymore right now. Okay, so that's where we are with that. And I hope that the big cold storm in the U.S. didn't affect you. Matter of fact, I hope you're abroad somewhere sunny seeing me. And I hope you're well. Alrighty. Aloha.